Mm. No, I used to listen to some instrumental music, no lie. Mm.
Hello and welcome to the Mail Review. I am your host, Cordero.
And I am Aaron.
And our other hosts are out today, so hopefully they'll be back next week.
Yes. Welcome to season 6, episode 10, guys. We got some wonderful clips today, and you'll get our unfiltered, thoughtful opinion. So let's kick it away. Mm. Pull this one up. We're going to start with yours. Mm.
Homosexuality. You sound slow, you sound uninformed, lazy, and nobody actually asked. The LGBTQ community is not a TED Talk. We're not a group project. We're definitely not up for a Google review. You sound like somebody arguing with gravity, loud, wrong, and still stuck on the ground. Queer people aren't waiting for your vote. We're not a sermon outline for you to mark up. Our lives are not your little debate club exercise. Our existence is not up for approval. We're not waiting for your vote like American Idol, or we're not standing in line for anyone's dusty little comment box. God created us, and God has already approved us. So you don't have to agree. You just have to deal with the fact that we're here, we're holy, we're thriving, and we're actually unbothered. So while people are pressed and petty and outdated, we're out here changing the world. Maybe you should catch up, glow up, or grow up. Agreement is not required for our existence.
For more on soul work, go to ocallen.com.
Ooh, Lord.
So,
He is a powerful man.
yes, I love everything he said. Um, I think everything he said was very much true. We're not up for debate. We're not. We're here. God literally made us. Sometimes people, a lot of I'll say straight people, think that some people came out because they've been raped and things like that, but that's definitely not my story. I've never been raped or anything like that. I'm here. God made me here. I knew I was gay for a very long time. Not up for debate or any of that, like you just said.
um, for me, for me, um, I'm not one of those where I could be straight passing meaning. So people could just, clock me or whatever, just on my voice alone or a little twitch, as people will say. So for me, I feel like, just like what he said, I totally agree. My existence is not up for debate. But however, it took me a long time to get to the place I'm at. Like Cozy, like Beyonce say, for me, I always kind of almost seek validation and approval, you know, because of my upbringing. So because of my upbringing, my background,
You
I always
never,
wanted,
you should
huh?
never want need validation approved by someone else. Be you.
Well,
We're
yes,
here.
but
We're not
coming,
going anywhere,
of
regardless of
course.
what
But here's the
anybody else.
thing, though. You know a little bit of where I come from. So with that being said, it takes a lot to kind of get there, especially when you come from like a Baptist background. Because let's be honest, the gays is not the majority. We like a minority within a minority crew. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
disagree with that. I think we exist just like the rest of the world is.
we do. But you get what I'm pitching. You know what I'm saying? Like we all
I
know
get
we everywhere. We everywhere. And we've been from the dawn of time. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been. But it's like for a person who kind of come from a background similar to mine, where it's like, okay, you grew up in Baptist, you kind of grew a little bit sheltered. You don't really be out like that. So to you, it's like you meet other people like yourselves in different forms as you go along your journey, right? But for me, it took me getting stepping on the stairs to get to the top to realize like, okay, it's out, you know what I'm saying? So not everybody was so exposed. Me, I was the type of person coming up as in, you know, you discover things as you go. You know what I'm saying? For
I
me,
hear you.
Yeah, so
I do not think that you should look for validation within other people. Always be yourself. Always. You that's the best way I could say it. Just be yourself.
of course,
Like he
but
said in a video, we don't need validation from others or the government or anything else. We're going to be here whether you want us here or not.
or not.
We
Right,
ain't going nowhere.
exactly. And I agree. But some people are very bold and broad, as yourself. And then some people, it takes time to kind of graduate to that point. But either way, I feel like once you get there to that point, no matter if you go there high, fast, or slow, it's beautiful once you get on top. Like me, I don't give a fuck. When I enter a room, people already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like my personality, my work ethic, no matter if it's work or personal, everything speaks for itself. And nobody could ever question that or challenge me on that. So you know what I'm saying? For me, I don't give a fuck. But when you're coming up, especially as a youngin, it's like that self-esteem, that confidence, and that poise come with time, elevation, and reevaluation and reassurance within oneself.
Agree.
Okay, then. We're gonna move on to this next clip, which kind of coincides with what you kind of gave me. So here we go.
Time that we have a conversation. I have been saying for years on this show that black men need to have a conversation, black men alone. We have got to figure out what is going on with us. This is not something that black women can help us with. This conversation does not include black women. Black women stand down and stand to the side. Black men need to have a kumbaya amongst themselves. And I'm going to niche this out a little more. And it's heterosexual black men. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna say it out loud with my whole chest. Straight black men are the cancer of the black community. That's where it starts and that's where it stops. Ladies, I'm here to tell y'all something. All this shit that y'all got going on, some of y'all, not all of y'all, with the gays and with the trans, let it go. Your issue is not a trans woman. Your issue is not a punk or not a sissy. Your issue is all of our issue. Straight black men. Straight black men are the enemy to the gays. Straight black men are the enemy to the trans. Straight black men are who are causing harm to the girls and the women. That's where it's at. Now y'all can shoot the messenger. Y'all can call me all type of faggots on the Shade Room and all the other blog sites that's gonna pick this up and I'll eat it. But you'll never see a situation where girls and women walking around saying they scared of the gay boys. They scared of their life for the gay boys. They don't want to be around the gay boys. It ain't us going around with these fragile ass egos, can't take rejection. We've got to ask ourselves, and I don't even know if the black straight male collective can even answer this question because their egos tend to be so fragile. How is it we are raising boys with these fragile ass egos that feel it is okay to slam girls on their head for saying no? Why is it that we have to make the females of the community make all the adjustments? It's not fair. Straight black men are the cancer of the black community. Argue with your mammy.
Now, I wanted to review this like a week ago, but I felt like because of what you sent me, this kind of core line. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just ride this way while we're here. And my honest thoughts. Now, I've been following, Funky Dineva for a very long time. He always been very bold and opinionated. You know what I'm saying? I feel like what he said do true. I feel like sometimes when it comes to our straight male black counterparts, y'all do need to y'all need to have a review or a little bit of meeting because sometimes I feel like when a person like ourselves walk into a room and we confident, we stand on what we stand on, and we're not moving off our square, whatever we decide to do should not be bother you one way or another. But you know what? It's always a whole ass bitch that always got something to say. But at least our shit be together while they should be falling apart. No shade. And it's more fun over here. You know what I'm saying? Like me just being on social media and just being out. And usually before me being around other gay men, I was always around females. And I always would hear a woman, especially a black woman perspective. And it's like in 2026, shit, everything is almost considered gay. Straight men can't do nothing almost nearly. shit, they can't barely do nothing without being called gay. But with us, shit, we can have it all. We can do whatever we want, and it's whatever, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So,
I
that's all.
do, I do agree to what he's saying, but only thing I could really say is that just mind your business.
Right.
Like, go out. If that person is not bothering you or harming you, let them be. Let them exist. That's how I feel.
Right. You
Not
already
bothering
know.
me because you have on this or the way you look like this. You're not bothering me. You're expressing yourself the way you want to express yourself, to live your way. You live your life how you want to live your life.
I totally agree because, like, for me, especially, literally, probably about to start, from the beginning of June till we get to Black Gay Pride. So from beginning of June to the second week of July, we already know what it's about to give, and it gives the same thing every year, you know. And to me, it's like to me, for a community, for a marginalized community, that's usually the majority almost, that have been birthright into privilege, right? In a sense, it's like y'all should really have nothing to complain about because y'all was grew into privilege versus people have died and sacrificed their lives for people to give us the right that we have in our community.
True. True.
So it was a lot of effort, sweat, and tears that was put in for us to have the rights that we have today. Shit. And little did
Yeah,
they know.
and I also agree to what he said. Like, you're allowing these young men to grow up and have that certain type of thinking. It's definitely not okay. Um, because then they'll grow up thinking like the other straight man and thinking that it's okay to say stuff, it's okay to do these things to these trans women and things like that. It's not okay.
Right. Like for me, I feel like it's a whole different dynamic and rabbit hole to go down on, but it just to me, I feel like it's a breath of fresh air when I meet a straight black man. Like my best friend, for example. My best friend of 50, one of my best friends for 15 years. He's a whole straight man, recently had a child. And in our dynamic, he never came off in a very homophobic way or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, was he a little bit clowning T when we was like younger, especially in high school? We all know how high school be. However, he always stood on his square. He always stood in his purpose. Where it's like, okay, yeah, my best friend, he whatever. However, shit, out of all y'all niggas, I relate to him because he actually had deep dialogue conversation. And I feel like because we had that elevation of maturity and that grown mindset at the young ages that we were at that time, is how our friendship still stand the test of time of this day. Because at the end of the day, I feel like shit, instead of us being enemies against each other, shit, we could definitely put each other on. Like, I feel like it's so much collaboration and network that could be done between the straight and gays that everybody just put their ego to the side. Like, we all want to get money, we all want to get paid, we all want connections, we all want to network. So to me, it's like put that shit away and look at the big broad spectrum where we all could benefit across the board. Shit, that should be powerful.
I get what you're saying. I agree.
Yes. All right then. Well, we can move on to the next clip because that just really moved me.
Important as your romantic relationships. And they're as important as any other relationship in your life, and also may last longer because they can start when
Absolutely.
you're. Well,
right?
also they can get started earlier. Also, but
What you say, Gail?
but this person who has seen you grow, and there is more of an expectation of acceptance among friends. Like your friend is not going to get mad at you because you look different as you get older. Like that's just not how friendships work. There is a more of an expectation of an unconditional acceptance.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing, though, is to nurture your friendships and value your friends. So many people, people like this, throw their friends away when other circumstances in their lives change.
Can't do it.
and that your friends are your greatest resource. I think that's what I would take away.
So, you know, I agree with Gail King when she said that friendships are equally as important as relationships. You know what I'm saying? That is a very true fact.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know sometimes people take their relationships. Well, it would be good. Well, I actually got into a little situation this morning, last night, someone like that. And sometimes people take their relationship serious, and I get that. But if you knew this person for many many years, and you know what their intentions are, you know your friends. You know what they'll do, what they won't do, and then also sometimes friends change as they get older. Some
Right.
things that you still do that friend may grow out of, and like me myself, I'm not. I'm slowly moving from going out and partying, like slowly. It seems like it's almost fading away. So, and I have friends and people that's very understanding of that.
Right. Speaking for me, I agree that friendships is equally as important as relationships. And some people. One lesson I learned is that, like, there's also intimacy when it comes to friendship, meaning as in like vulnerability and stuff. And you can have the same respect in a relationship as much as you give a friendship. Now, obviously, the fine line difference is, and this is kind of common sense, is that I know most people go hard more on a relationship versus a friendship because at least in a relationship you building towards something. You know what I'm saying? Some people there's an intimacy part there. I'm just speaking on principle alone, and it's a life going thing. You know what I'm saying? But also in a friendship,
Absolutely,
it's the same.
it kind of go hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand. The only difference is that one is more romantic and the other one is more like nurturing, like pouring. You know what I'm saying? Because it
Oh,
goes
no,
back to
I
what
should
we
use
said,
porn for example. Okay, but go ahead.
pouring.
I
Pouring.
thought you said porn.
No, no.
Go
But
ahead.
but I, but the thing is, to me, it's like the one common value in both is that if you spend this long period of time with this individual and you know them like the back of your hand, and like you said, to play devil's advocate, like yeah, you could know a person and you should know them, but sometimes, like you said, people change. You know what I'm saying? Going back to what I said about me and my straight best friend. I was 15. I was 15. He was 14 when we met. I'm 30 now and he's 29. So like obviously we have changed, our mentalities have changed, but the common core of our essence hasn't. So, to me, it's like no matter if it's a friendship or relationship, all that time and information and data that was gathered, it's like you should kind of know your people, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know people could change. So it's like to me, it's like it's an ongoing work. When effort is put into both and people actually want both things to work, then it's like y'all gonna fight for it. But it's like if people just go off with their whatever what they want to do and don't pour into friendship, because there's people I know once, they get in a relationship, all their friends just get on to the side. But then when the relationship ends, then they be like, where they friends at? You got to learn how to juggle both simultaneously. And I think that's the imbalance when it comes to certain friends in relationships when I look at certain things. Y'all don't know how to balance both. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I will say this as an engaged man sitting here, right? That my friend's opinion is equally as important as my fiance and my partner's opinion. But however, when I hang around both, when both come together, I'm gonna look at all the information despite the connection and time I've been with both parties, I'm just gonna look at both sides, and then that's gonna make me have my final determination on, do I want to keep nurturing, pouring into it, or do I want to cut it off? Because at the end of the day, I tell people this: nobody's ever trapped a box in nothing. Each day you wake up with a gift of life from God, you always have an opportunity to counsel a friendship, a relationship, or sometimes don't even counsel it. Just demote them. Like, a person could be a friend for years, and sometimes you got to demote people and promote people like it's a job. Sometimes you got to treat a relationship and a friendship like a job. And I know most people don't like doing that, but sometimes you have to do that. And that was my hardest lesson that I had to learn in these last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to pick and choose your battles and move accordingly. It's just that simple.
Absolutely. I agree.
All right, let me move her out the way, and I put this next clip up, and then we just gonna keep it rolling. That was 3. This is gonna be 4. Okay. Ooh, I love. See, they don't make good quality anchors like you know Gail King and them like that. Now that's some old school tales. I'm on upload. I did click on this one. Give me 1 minute. I don't know why it's acting like that.
A lot of people think being a good friend means
This. All right, here we go. Sorry about that.
constantly proving yourself, dropping everything for people, always being available, understanding, overextending yourself. And honestly, that's not friendship. That's fear of losing people. Because if you truly believed someone valued you, you wouldn't feel the need to constantly earn your place in their life. I think a lot of people overgive because they think, if I stop doing all this, people will leave. But that creates so much resentment because now you're secretly expecting people to match an energy they never even asked you to give. And your whole life starts revolving around maintaining relationships instead of actually enjoying them, which is why I created my overgiving framework, because life gets so much more peaceful when you stop abandoning yourself trying to keep connection. You stop feeling emotionally drained. You stop overextending. You stop building one-sided friendships where you secretly feel underappreciated all the damn time. And honestly, the healthier friendships usually survive your boundaries anyway.
She spoke some truth.
Yeah, you wanna go? You wanna start with that one?
I'll start with it. Once again, going back into life lessons that I had to learn is that I'll because of my nurturing nature and I always want to give, I always want to show up for people and make them feel like they feelings, they important, in X, Y, and Z. But then also on the flip side, it's like you got to learn how to step back and look at yourself, be like, wait a minute, I'm doing all these things. Is there reciprocation? And if there's no reciprocation, if it feels like it's one sided and I give him more, then I need to step back. I think the self sabotaging part that she was talking about is also goes to the fact that sometimes we expect you from other people, and we also have to come to realization that we are uniquely made in our own right. God, there's a reason why God made us the way we do, diversity in reason right. So it's one of the things I always had to kind of almost keep telling myself is that stop expecting you from other people. People not gonna give what you give because sometimes there's only one of one and you're gonna be the only one. Okay. And that's just not being cocky or anything. That's just speaking facts. Like that's why I feel like sometimes we get angry, not at the person, but more at ourselves because we be giving and expecting and thinking that people gonna do what we do in certain situations or dynamic. And then when they don't acclimate or do what we do or move how we move, then it's like it's a problem. But sometimes it's like, yeah, it's the other person's problem because it's like, listen, I do all these things, I witness all these situations, and it's like, okay, where are we going from here? But then at the same time, accountability is a must that always got to be held. We got to hold that person accountable, but we also got to hold ourselves accountable for putting expectations on people, even the people we think we know, and we're got to remind ourselves they're not us, and we are one on one, and we the only one. So,
Agree to what she said. And he said, I have nothing to say on that one.
okay then. All right. Well, okay. Well, we just move on to the next one then. I just keep doing this. Okay. Pull this one up. I don't like any doses. All right.
Make it clear to you. You are not going to have to second guess. You are not going to have to question it. They are going to make it clear to you. And you know how they're going to make it clear to you? By their actions and by their words. So listen, if somebody is not making it clear by their actions and their words, then they're speaking very loud and loudly and clearly. They do not want to be in your life. So I just wanted to make sure I spoke for someone who was maybe questioning and second guessing and doubting and worrying. Listen, if they want to be there, they're going to make it clear. The decision has been made. Actions speak louder than words. So listen, I just had to make sure the girls knew. If they want to be there, it's going to be clear. So listen, just make sure you love yourself well so that you can love others better.
So in this context, she was talking about.
I get it. I get what you were saying. And I do agree that it goes hand in hand with the whole thing, relationship and friendship type of thing. Because if they want to be in that friendship, they want to be in that relationship, you'll know. You'll know they want to be there. They'll do the things that they need to do to show you and be there.
I totally agree. Going back to one of the listen, this whole show is all about my lessons almost. Is that when things are clear, there is no confusion.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I also realize people just thrive in chaos. And sometimes
Watch out for friends who stay cool
but you
with
know
your
what,
enemies.
chaos is the only thing that they know, sadly. And because some people come from a background of chaos, it's like they don't know how to recognize a person's peace. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because they always want to be in the gray area, be nonchalant and just don't want to have clarity. It's like they just love having people. They love straddling the fence of, okay, I didn't say yes, I didn't say no, or it's always that famous line. You take it how you want to take it, and all this foolishness. And the reality, I feel like when you kind of 25 plus grown, ain't no way there should be confusion in friendships or even in a relationship. Like, there should be clarity at all times. And if there's misinterpretation of certain things, speak up. Don't be afraid of, you know, um, confronting things head on. Because that's one thing I have to learn. Sometimes there's gonna be some confrontation and emotions gonna be run high, but at the end of the day, if it brings the results of clarity, then let it be. You're never gonna know if it's time to drop something if you don't tackle things head on. Especially when it comes to our community. We love to and I'm just gonna speak in the gay community and broad spectrum to an extent. We rather kind of be subliminal, or or just air each other out on Facebook and Instagram. And we all know every circus loves its clown. And to me, it's like, ain't no way, if you have my social medias and my phone number and like where I live, ain't no way there be confusion and you feeling some type of way. Ain't no way we should not be on Instagram and Facebook shading each other or airing each other out and giving people a show. Like, it's like, listen, you know where I be at, you know where I live, you know where I hang out. Like, if you know everything about me, then just pull up. Not on some like, Timberland boots like we about to, tussle, but on some classy grown man shit. Let's pull up and see what it's giving. You know what I'm saying? And talk it out, let's grown men. You know what I'm saying? Because with me, I'm at a point in life when it comes to situation, and it could go two ways. Either want to talk it out like men, or we could, step outside. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like to go there with nobody, but sometimes the results have to come in where it's going to be given. So it is what it is, type shit.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to this final clip, and I know we're gonna have commentary on this one.
Cool with your enemies, and I'm not talking about strangers. I'm talking about people who know the situation, know what was done to you, and still moving friendly, laughing with them, kicking it with them, acting like everything normal. That's weird, because loyalty is not just what you say, it's how you move when it counts. If someone did you dirty and your friend can still sit with them comfortably, that tells you everything. They don't stand on nothing. They just go with whatever is convenient. And you gotta pay attention to that. Because the same way they smiling with you, they could be doing the same thing behind your back. So yeah, watch who you call a friend. Because everybody around you is not standing with you for real.
It depends. So just like I think we talked about some similar last week, but I guess it depends on the situation, on what they did.
Right.
Because what they did to you does not mean they're going to do it to me. But it may. I guess it depends on what you did.
Right. You know what? I feel like this when I'm in a bind situation. I've been in this and so many times. It's like, okay, my third eye gonna be open, and I'm gonna try to take heed. But sometimes your third eye get cloudy because it's like when you be around a person. Sometimes, just like in a relationship, we ignore the red flags, and then we get bit too. And then when we come around that person who had the same conflict with that individual, it's always the "I told you so." And like you said, it depends. But I guess as an emotional person, you know,
It's
the
okay to
old,
feel
the
that.
old immature, the old immature part of me be like, "Oh, you mess with her now? I gotta look at you funny." The
No, but it's
mature,
okay to. It's okay. I think it's okay to tell a friend like, "Hey, your experience with this person and what they did, and to just keep their eye open for this person." Yeah, definitely do that. I'm that type of friend that'll let
right?
you know how this person is, and then you can make that decision from there.
For me, sometimes I love playing it safe. Like when situations blown. Like I say, it's case by case, and I wish I could speak in general, but I can't because each situation is different. But what I would do is, it's like if I witness a situation, especially let's say if it's like Carl or you or my fiance, it's like somebody who's actually close, who know my tea and everything, right? And one of you three come to me about an individual, and I'm like, okay, well, I never got that vibe. I'm gonna take heed. But because depending on my closeness with the person, whoever giving me the information, I will kind of step back, especially if the situation is very hot and it's like, and it's fresh. I don't want somebody or like you or anybody else questioning my loyalty because I want y'all to know where my loyalty lies. Because I feel like, yes, I'm not gonna choose a side, but however, if you like a real core person in my circle, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, I'm gonna step back from this person and be like, and then if a person questions me, I'd be like, look, I know you haven't done nothing to me. And but however, you kind of messed up with one of my good core people in my life. And I gotta just separate you from me for a while, and that's just what it's gonna give. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the new me, which is kind of growing into the mindset of where you at, where it's like it depends on the situation, but then the old part of me is like, oh, you have beef with her. I don't really have beef with her, but I guess I would have beef with her too, because it's like, you know, I don't want you to second question me of where I stand with you. But like I said, a mature grown person gonna be like, okay, Thank you for telling me this information. I'm going to move accordingly, and I'm going to watch out for these things. But I think most people is so stuck on the word loyalty, where they feel like I done all these things for you, I showed up for you, like you're mine, like you're mine. You know what I'm saying? Like if I consider this person an op and they my opposition, why you over there? Bring your tail over here. Don't talk to her type shit. Like that's how some people
I
do, not me. I'm not speaking for me. But I know some people that's like that.
yeah. Yeah, true. Also, I have this one last topic. So
Go ahead.
one of my friends had posted this a while ago. I think it was around what's the holiday?
The last one.
No, the one before that.
Okay, not Memorial. What was the holiday before that? Like, was it like not?
The Hispanic heritage something,
Oh yes.
whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
So he had made a status and he posted black. He wanted to know this question. He said, "Black people, how would you feel if if a Hispanic person were African gardeners during Black History Month or on Juneteenth?"
I
And
think I
then
see
at the bottom, he put, "Take that Sabera off. Take that Sabera off." I thought I'm saying it right. So,
Sabero. Yeah.
do you do you think it's okay for me being a black guy? It's okay for me to wear some Hispanic stuff when
Okay,
I may not be
I see where
that
you're
or
going.
something like that.
I see where you're going with it.
I don't think
Um,
I think you should wear what you want to wear. It's a free
I feel
world,
like this.
especially if you're American.
Right. I feel like
Same thing we
this.
just talked about.
I
Same thing we just talked about with the whole gay situation, and like and the trans situation. Wear what you want to wear. Nobody's stopping you. Do you? If you want to celebrate any holiday you want, go
right.
for it.
And I say this because I took cultural perspectives when I took a cultural perspective course. Learn about different cultures and meaning and symbolism of certain things. When it comes to that, because I took that, it gave me an open, broader mind of you gotta kind of take heed when it comes to certain things. Just like when we have Black History Month and other nationalities and ethnicities understand not to get out of kind of pocket. It's like we all there's like a mutual line of respect. Now we do have some ignorant people. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
Now, as a black person, you're not gonna catch me, sombrero and stuff because I know what the history and the heritage behind that and the power behind that. You know what I'm saying? Some people not that educated and knowledgeable, but it's like it's just like when we have like Cinco de Mayo. And I know most traditional Hispanic people don't consider that like a real holiday. You know what I'm saying? Some of the new school cats do. So with that being said, it's like you have to move with knowledge. It goes back to knowledge again. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So for me, like even though I'm black, you're not gonna have me see like have on like African garments or daichikis and stuff like that because I also know that's a different culture within the culture. Like we all could be black, but we also have black that's Haitian. We have black that's Jamaican. Like there,
I don't see an issue with it. I just say if you're going to do that, know your history,
yes,
but don't do it if you don't know the history.
exactly. So to me, it's all about when it comes to certain holidays and how a person moves. It's you have to move with knowledge, and then you can get mad when a person have a certain reaction. Because I bet if a white or Hispanic person come into Juneteenth or Black History Month with some slave garments or daichiko whatever, and as us folks, we understand the history behind that. That'd be kind of ignorant, and people be ready to stomp boots. So I feel like when it comes to certain holidays and certain celebrations, like know the history, respectful. You know what I'm saying? Like you could maybe get invited to have a seat at the table. Just because you're invited doesn't mean you're gonna guarantee to have a seat at the table or to cook out respectfully. So I just feel like you got to move with some knowledge. Don't be ignorant. Just don't be ignorant. It's that simple.
True. All right.
That's it.
We're gonna wrap up the show. We'll see you guys next week. Also, I also know that I've been noticing that in our comments, people speak to us and say things, and they're wondering why we're not speaking back. So I'll make it a point to start speaking to the viewers starting next week, and
Yeah.
bracket
Like
them a little bit more. So yeah, because I actually got somebody who actually said it to me yesterday. So I'll make the point of doing
yeah.
that.
Right. Yeah, we figured that part out.
Yep. All right.
And y'all enjoy your blessed Sunday. This is a very good show.